Once on Facebook, I came across a post in some group, I don't remember what it was called, but a girl, a young woman, was talking about her relationship with an abuser and manipulator. She listed some phrases that he used on her. And I added to them, believing that they are most often used by manipulators and abusers towards their victims. And today I will share them with you so that you can recognize a narcissist, abuser, or just a domestic manipulator in relationships through these phrases, sentences, and manipulations. With you, with me, psychologist Yuliia Latunenko, and for 18 years now I have been helping people deal with their personal or individual problems, as well as improving relationships in couples and families. And today I have prepared a very interesting video for you. But before we start discussing the announced topic, I want to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's new. And here is the first manipulative phrase that a narcissist uses on their victim. If you really loved me a lot, yes, you would do everything for me. I see that you don't love me enough. Here, he manipulates with guilt, and the victim immediately starts proving to him how much she loves him and is ready to do everything for him. In this way, he forces her into a sacrificial position, because for him, love is sacrifice. Well, sacrificial love is present in all codependent relationships. But the manipulator simply places a great emphasis on your sacrifice. He wants to see how much it hurts you, how you endure, how you suffer for the sake of love for him. The second phrase of the manipulator: I want you to be more flexible and open towards me. He wants to bend his victim and break her over his knee. He wants to see her humiliated, broken. He wants her to give up all her needs, desires, her feelings, to ignore herself for his sake. He wants her entire world to revolve around him, because he believes she should complete the work that his biological mother didn't finish in his childhood. And always, the psychopath, abuser, and manipulator, also a narcissist, projects the maternal object onto his victim and behaves like a small psychopathic child who falls to the floor in a store, banging his head on the ground, screaming, "Mom, I want that toy. Mom, I want you to fulfill this wish of mine." That's it. And he doesn't even anticipate the scenario where you might say no to his demand. No, you shouldn't have your own boundaries. You shouldn't have anything of your own at all, because he turns you into his possession. He turns you into his resource, his tool for satisfying his needs. Therefore, you must be flexible and open. And you must be open so that he can learn everything about your life, about all those episodes in your life that you may have never told anyone. He will try to find out, to get to your secrets, so that he can later manipulate and use this information against you. You have already realized that most of his manipulations start with the words "you must." To whom? Why? Do you owe him anything? In fact, you owe him nothing because you did not give birth to him. But this message, it's directed to the mother. It's the mother who should do something for her child. Yes, whatever she wants. But you, as a woman, owe him nothing at all. And here, in the sexual sphere, you should. You should become more creative in sex, or you're not very interesting in sex, and I'm not getting pleasure with you. That is, you see, the woman here is responsible for his pleasure, for his orgasms. The responsibility does not lie with him, but with you. And they very often like the woman to jump on him, do something special. They like it when everything around him is bouncing and squealing with pleasure, right? He wants to see how you work for him, how you exhaust yourself, and how you invest your energy in him. That's why he manipulates you into becoming more creative in sex. He says, you need to change something so that our sex life improves. Not we both need to change something, but you need to. Here he is already devaluing the woman, conveying the message that something is wrong with you in sex, that you are somehow defective. And here the woman, as a victim, thinks, oh no, God forbid, he might go to someone better if I'm so defective. I need to take some sexuality courses. I need to find some special information so that it will be better for him. But in reality, she feels very bad in such a relationship. She is reduced to zero in her sexuality. The next point of the program, you must satisfy me more and better because you never do it sufficiently. Here again, we see the child's complaint to the mother. You must make me happy and satisfied. And they also love to be satisfied immediately because they don't know how to wait. They don't understand that maybe the person cannot fulfill their request right now. It's like a little child who screams, Mom, I'm hungry. Give me the breast, and give it urgently because I'm starving. Manipulators and abusers do the same with their partners. And here's another gem. You must meet my expectations because lately you have been disappointing me more and more. If you do not meet my expectations, you will become unworthy of my attention and love, and in the end I might leave you. Here he manipulates the fear of losing his victim, and as a codependent person, the victim becomes frightened and starts fulfilling all the whims of their sadistic manipulator. Here's another point about how you must urgently respond to all his proposals, demands, and requests, as well as about devaluation in the sexual sphere. In general, narcissists and psychopaths love to bulldoze through a woman's sexuality. This is the kind of situation that the same woman described on Facebook. She says that her husband often did things like texting her at night at 3 in the morning, for example, or calling her, and if she was asleep or, if it was during the day and she was busy and didn't respond, he would then send her messages like, so, why aren't you answering my calls and messages? If you're with someone, then I hope you're getting paid well for it. So look, he's already making her out to be someone, well, similar to a woman of easy virtue, even though she never gave any reason to think of her that way. Well, that often happens because he wants the woman to start justifying herself. He got jealous, he imagined something, he can't admit it, his own inadequacy, and he projects his inadequacy onto her. He wants her to start proving her love, justifying herself for something she didn't do. But I advise never to do that, never to justify yourself. It's better to end the relationship with such a person altogether. And I suggest responding to such accusations. I'm not interested at all in continuing such a topic with your fantasies about me. Go figure it out yourself. In general, they often turn out to be fixated on the sexual sphere, and in this area, women receive a lot of devaluation. For example, something like this: I need oral and anal sex sufficiently. And if you don't do this, then surely you don't want other women to do it, right? Well, if you don't do it, then don't complain later. And if you don't know how to do it, then go watch porn and learn how normal women do it. Again, he uses his victim, frightening her with loss, devaluing her sexuality. He wants to dominate her, to be her master. And there might also be something like, I am your husband, and you must obey me, because the man in the family is the head, and the woman is the neck. So, listen to what I tell you. Well, this is some kind of more patriarchal system and not a partnership. These are the relations of a slave owner and a slave. He wants power over her, he wants submission. He wants, through the resource that a woman is to him, to boost his low self-esteem, to increase his significance. I am the main one here. This is fundamentally a question of power, exploiting a woman so that a man can resolve his deep subconscious issues with low self-esteem. And here's another gem from the manipulator and abuser. Do you really think you can find someone better than me? And then he might say, who else would want someone like you? Well, who else besides me would agree to build any kind of relationship with you? And why does he say this? He devalues her to instill in her mind that she is needed by no one but him, so that she won't leave him under any circumstances, because he is actually dependent on his victim and is very afraid of losing her. Because who else would he drain the life from? And here's another thing. When he has already driven his victim to hysteria, convulsions, tears, screams, and crying with his mockery, trolling, sarcasm, and humiliation, he says to her, as if nothing happened, "What did I say that's so bad? I was just joking. Why are you reacting like this at all? You shouldn't take my words so seriously." One day he says that everything I say should be taken seriously. And then when he has already pushed the victim to the edge, he says, "Don't take it so seriously, I was joking. What's wrong with you? What, don't you have any sense of humor or what?" And the woman believes him. She thinks she's defective in everything, even lacking sense of humor. And in such cases, I always say, laugh at yourself, not at someone else. Because the one who laughs at someone else is actually a person who just wants to boost their own significance and self-esteem at the expense of another person. If he is angry, yells at you, insults you, somehow belittles or offends you, and you usually get offended by him, and then he tells you, "I lost it because you provoked me to do this. I belittled and offended you because you provoked me. You made me like this." Don't make me like this. But you didn't make him his own mother and father did. Yet the complaint is directed at you as if you were his mother. He doesn't take responsibility for his shouting, his rudeness, for his offensive words that he uses towards you, for his behavior. He doesn't take responsibility for anything at all. Therefore, he will shift the responsibility in the form of blame onto you and say, it's all you, it's all your fault that he's like this. Very often, manipulators and abusers accuse their victims of being selfish and only thinking about themselves. This is pure projection from the psychopath, manipulator, abuser, because in reality, they are the ones who are highly egocentric. But they detach this projection and impose it on their victim. Well, for example, this can happen when he wakes you up in the middle of the night and says, I want sex, right? And you say, no, I'm sleeping. Oh, you're selfish, you only think about yourself. Well, this is an example, yes, maybe a very eccentric one, but they can say this in everyday situations, reproaching with this selfishness. But in reality, they are the ones who are selfish. Manipulators very often manipulate the fear of loss, and they say, that's it, I've had enough. That's it, I'm leaving you, goodbye, forever. In this case, you just need to say, yes, okay, goodbye, forever. He might endure a few days of silence, but then the same old story will start again. And maybe even a sweet show will begin. Because, as I said, the manipulator is very afraid of losing their victim. He is also dependent on her, so he won't go anywhere away from you. I want to change your entire life. Your friends are not worthy of you. Your family, mother, father, your sisters, brothers are not worthy of you. So don't communicate with them. You have me. This is what the manipulator says: to cut off their victim's surroundings, to isolate her from the environment that could become her support in difficult times. He does this so that she can't escape anywhere, so that she quarrels, distances herself from her surroundings, and doesn't have this external resource. So she can't turn to her friends who could support her and say, what are you doing here? Leave him already. Because he knows that's what they will say. He subconsciously senses this influence of the surroundings on the victim and tries to cut everyone off from her so that she makes him the meaning of her life, so that she is only his property and revolves only around him. Here's another interesting manipulation related to jealousy. Well, they are jealous of poles, stools. This is a well-known fact. But here's such a nuance. Jealousy of the past. This is a sign of a manipulator and abuser. He first gains your trust and starts asking you, how was everything in your past, in the past? He even inquires about details, like how it was for you in bed with that man, and whether he satisfied you sexually. And when you trust him and tell him everything because he asks, you answer his questions, then something terrible begins. He starts to get jealous, to reproach. And you tell him, well, you asked, so I told you. I answered your question. Why did you ask if you weren't ready to hear it? And he says something like, I did ask, but you should have kept quiet and held back. And you shouldn't have told me such details. You see, he doesn't even take responsibility for this, for his curiosity. And for his curiosity, I emphasize towards the opposite sex, because it's such a homosexual thing, right? He's interested in how things are with that man through you. He's interested in his own, or in his own gender. Well, and now there will be the last point. But before I tell you it, I remind you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my new YouTube channel. And the last thing is about his mother. He often says, I can have many women, but only one mother. Very often, a psychopath, abuser, manipulator, or narcissist adores his mother. But there are also polar situations where he has developed very bad relationships with his mother. But he chooses in both cases not to talk to his mother, not to get into arguments with her, as they say. And all this crap spills onto the woman who ends up as his partner in life. And he constantly tries to separate himself from the woman, to devalue her. But those narcissists who adore their mother, they idealize her. They might even be very strongly attached to her and put the woman in a competitive situation with their mother. That is, if the woman needs something, yes, and the mother needs something, he will run to his mother first, and the woman will come later. That's all for now. I look forward to your subscriptions and comments. Maybe you can add to this list of phrases that you might have heard from your narcissists, manipulators, and abusers. I would be very grateful if you write in the comments. And don't forget to like this video.